Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being a part of Real Talk with Ntabi YouTube channel. As I always say, I do not take it for granted, guys. So today, guys, I'm with someone amazing, someone who is doing amazing things in the industry of digital marketing. So I would like him to introduce himself before I go any further. Hi, Lebo, and welcome to my channel.
Thanks for having me. So, brief introduction into who I am. I'm Lebogang Mokubela. I'm the founder and CEO of Lebogang Group, which is a township-based marketing group. So, essentially, the vision behind it is ultimately to grow one of Africa's dominant marketing groups. We also recently launched Libra by Lebogang, which is our smartphone brand. And so, yeah, I'm a great advocate of township economy and township business. I'm a great advocate of entrepreneurship. I'm an advocate of digital marketing and building sustainable businesses.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
And of course, not only that, guys, in 2016, Lebo won a business award with Standard Bank. And I feel like that is something that is so inspiring. And I think that's when I got to really know more about you and obviously didn't engage or connect with you until I saw you in Main Lane at Starbucks. I think you were having a meeting with someone. I was like, should I take this opportunity? But I was like, you know what? My time will come. Let me not. Yes, so that was that. But I think we want to know, before we talk about digital marketing and how to position your brand as a business, as an individual, I think tell us about that experience of winning a business award. What did it take for you to get there? Because I think someone who doesn't know you, I've seen your work, I know your work, like you are killing it in the game, and I'm inspired by that. But there's someone who doesn't really know much about your core background or what keeps you moving. So maybe give us a brief of that experience.
It's actually, I've done quite a number of interviews, and it's actually the first time someone asked me about how the experience was. So as you're asking the question, I'm actually getting goosebumps. So the thing was, it was a humbling experience. I wouldn't say that I expected it, because the truth is I resigned from my job as director of another agency in late 2014, and I started Lebogang in September 2015. And prior to starting Lebogang, a lot of things happened. I lost my car. My car was repossessed. I went into major debt. I lost money. There was a lot of things happening. So I started Lebogang, and it grew. We started off basically dealing with only SMMEs from a branding perspective, because coming from corporate, I realized how much money major corporates put into branding. Branding is something they take seriously. Even if they give you a project and you mess up the color code, you are gone. That's how hectic they take this thing. It's very hectic. So a red is not just a red. There's a Pantone color. You must be sure. So I realized a lot of SMMEs don't take their branding to that extent, purely because also it's an expensive exercise. So we launched and packaged our offering to give the same service to SMMEs, but at a price point they can basically afford, but still being able to be profitable. So we grew the business from there. I think first year we grew at 400%. So we grew 4 times. And so 2016, when they were doing the judging for the awards, that's when we submitted our financials and everything. So, like I said, my car was repossessed. So I was using my grandfather's 1993 Conquest. So I remember driving to the awards with my business partner then, and which she recently left the business, but she was still my business partner then. And as we got to the venue, when we parked, on this side was my dream car. Back then it was my dream car, not now anymore. But it was my dream car, the Jeep SRT. And on this side, I can't remember what Mercedes it was. So I was like, yep, I'm not winning this thing. We're just here for, because, I think I was still naive at that point to think that, I think sometimes we limit success in business to possessions. So when you see
Yeah.
someone who's in business and doesn't drive a fancy car, in your head, you're thinking, oh,
They're winning.
he's a survivalist. And you probably actually have what I found in my experience is that the guys that actually don't focus on material are the guys that actually are building phenomenal businesses because all their focus is in the business, not
Mm.
the externalities. Anyway, so we got into the venue, the event started, the first award was given. Funny thing is the first person that got the award, we were sitting because they grouped us in the round table setup. We were sitting in the same table. So as she stood up, like, oh, hi, ooh, well done, well done.
Yeah.
So then they were like, no, before we get into the new second award, let's have a breather, let's have some entertainment. So I was like, you know what, let me just go to the bathroom.
Mm.
So as I went to the bathroom, as I came back, the music had stopped. Now the next person was on stage to announce the award, and I sat down. And funny thing is, when we were called to enter the awards, we entered the awards as a company, not Lebogang as an individual.
Yes.
So I entered the company only to find that the guys actually said no, this actually is best for the entrepreneur purely because of the story behind how it got repossessed and we were able to grow.
Mm.
So as I sat down, they're like, yeah, this category is young entrepreneur of the year. I'm like, okay, we didn't enter for that. So I didn't care. I was just sitting and I was like, okay, I'm waiting to congratulate someone. And the guy's like, the winner is Lebogang from Lemok. I was like, huh?
What?
No. So I was sitting there, I was like, nah, maybe I didn't hear it correctly. So my business partner is busy nudging me. He's like, hey, go ahead, now, go ahead, now, go ahead. And I'm like, no, it's not me. Then they called it the second time. That's when I realized, okay, it's true. But I was skeptical. But I stood up and I went to the stage. I received the award and everything. I kid you not, I literally shed a tear.
Mm.
And after the award show, we were driving back home with my business partner, and she said to me that, she said, everything that you did and everything that you lost is a testament of today. That your greatness has nothing to do with the materials that you have, but your greatness is who you are.
Wow.
And that I'll never forget that. So it was a humbling experience. That's why
Yes.
I never talk about my awards. When someone says introduce yourself, I never talk about those awards because
Yeah.
I still feel that it's more of a privilege rather to say I can dance again. Obvious, no.
Mm. You
For
still remain
me, it has always been a
humble.
humbling. Yeah, no, it humbles me. That humbles you
Yeah.
because you realize that the room was filled with people that were making millions more than I was making, or I wasn't even making a million back then. So the business was still very small. So
Mm.
I was against guys that were building and running multi-million rand businesses, and I still won. So that humbles you. I don't care how arrogant you think you are, but
Yeah.
that humbles you. And yeah, so yeah, yeah,
Exactly. I mean, I'm now, now I'm the one who's getting goosebumps because I'm taken back to the time when you're at the parking lot, when you're about to enter.
yeah,
And then the next thing you see this amazing dream car of yours, and then you're probably
yeah.
thinking the person who's driving this car is probably the one who's gonna win instead of myself. you
Yep.
know. So I think
Yep.
that is amazing story, and the reason why I'm asking this is because as much as we are inspired by the success of a person, there is a story behind each and every success, and what you just said now,
Yeah.
it's a clear example that, you know what, I might have gotten my car repossessed, I might have gone through downfalls, but I managed to get where I am. You stayed focused, and I mean,
Mm.
to that
Yeah.
extent you were able to be more inspired to grow the agency that you have now and the brands that you
Yeah.
built. So yeah, that's amazing, that's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So digital marketing, I think
Oh,
that is the most important topic of the day. Actually, everything that we're talking
mm.
about is important. Let me not
Yeah.
say the more important. Um,
Mm.
Social media and digital marketing. And I think let's
Mm.
start firstly by explaining, in your terms, what is digital marketing?
So digital marketing, so often at times in my experience, people confuse digital marketing by saying digital marketing is social media. Social media is a component of digital marketing, but digital marketing is not just social media. So in other words, it's online marketing. So it's basically platforms that are online that you use from a marketing and advertising perspective. So that can be display ads that you place on websites. It can be Google AdWords, where it's Google advertising. It can be search optimization, where it's basically when people search for your keywords and everything. It can be social media. Then social media in itself has components. There's content, there's advertising, and there's pragmatic. So there is quite a lot in digital. So I often say digital is like an umbrella. So when you open an umbrella, it has different sides and different layers or compartments. And so digital is the full umbrella, but every component basically fills up the umbrella. So when when you say you have a digital strategy, you must think of an umbrella that are you covering each base, because what often people do is they say they have a digital strategy, but it's just social media, so they're only covered on this side. So when rain comes, they get wet here because they're only covered here. So digital is full on, even website, even email, anything that utilizes digital basically, or rather internet, and it's an online platform that you utilize. That is ultimately what digital marketing is, in simple terms, without sounding fancy.
No, you're not sounding fancy. Actually, what you're saying is right because I'll tell you my experience. I'm a web designer, and one of the challenges that I've got to encounter with clients is that they'll come to you, they say, okay, I need you to design a website for me. But now you ask them, okay, do you have social media platforms? Um, no, we don't have them, or probably they have them and then I set them up, for example. So I do the website, I set up the social media platforms. But now what they don't realize is that that doesn't end there. The fact that you have an online presence, a website running, and social media platforms there, it doesn't end there. There is more that you need to do in terms of understanding your search engine optimization, creating content from your website and still on social media. So you
Yeah.
mentioned that point, and I think that is something that most people still have a challenge with. They don't know how to, we'll get into social media, but they don't know how to market their brands well enough to actually get them to the relevant audience. And I think that's what I want you to explain to us. Like, fine, you have a business, maybe generalize it, like different types of businesses. How do you position your brand online and target the relevant audience? I know you did an ad campaign, a video not so long, but obviously I just want you to explain the process, mainly on online presence and getting your targeted market. What are the options?
So let me start off by saying this. The reason why people don't see social, or they don't think digital and take it seriously, it's because, Ntabi, one of the biggest problems we have is we have a lot of people that think old school business and still saying that they are modernized. So we say we are modernized, but we still use old school principles. So that is why you still see it today, even in corporates. People are still spending 100,000 rand a month on a billboard. And that's why, for me personally, and it sounds bad, but this coronavirus was a wake-up call and was a good thing for a lot of people. Because now, because of lockdowns, the billboards are sitting on the side of the road with no one on the road. So no one is seeing these billboards. These flyers that we print, that we love so much, these ads in newspapers and magazines that we love so much, no one is reading magazines. No one is reading newspapers at the moment. So they've been rendered useless. They are useless. So our problem is we call ourselves modernized purely because we don't use typewriters, we use laptops. But we are still traditional enough on our mindset. So our problem is we want to merge the old mindset with the new way of doing things, and those things will always clash. That is the biggest barrier that I've found. So from a mentality perspective, we need to deal with that first and realize that digital is not fighting. It does not fight it does not come to disrupt your business. It's another way of helping you. Before television was there, people were advertising whatever way. Then television became the biggest thing. Now everyone was rushing to do TV adverts, and then things evolved and evolved. Now we have YouTube, which is the new stream, the new way of doing television. Ultimately, this is actually an episode of this is an interview on television, basically.
Yes.
So that is essentially social media is word of mouth. It's just digitized now, and you can spread the word to multiple people as opposed to one person at a time. So that first and foremost you need to deal with. Now, in terms of positioning your business on social media and digital, the first and foremost, we need to understand that everything connects to what we call the business model. So I tend to be very technical with these things. I always try to summarize and simplify them.
Yeah.
Your business
You
model
know what?
starts with
People
one.
need to think. So even if it's technical, they'll have to learn one way or the other.
Okay. So the business model starts with what we call customer segments. So you basically customer segment is the who, what, where. So who are they? What do they do? Where are they? So this is your customer. Now the biggest problem is we don't know how to define a customer. That's the biggest problem. So lace wigi, and then when you ask them who is your customer, any woman that has money and can afford. But the problem is Tabi may afford your lace wigs, but she prefers a natural hair. So
Yeah.
she's not going to buy a lace wig. So therefore, she's not your customer.
Yeah.
Then there's another one who can still afford the lace wig, but you probably find that she's allergic to the wig.
Yeah.
So she's not gonna buy wig. So when we don't clearly define who our customer is, we are going to waste time marketing to the wrong people, and we're going to waste money
Yeah.
marketing to the wrong people. There's a guy I know, Sosha. He sells. Okay, I don't want to say what he sells because singular out. I'm just making an example, but he
Yeah.
sells something. So he's always complaining on social media that Batwaka support. And I once asked him a question that are you selling to solve a customer problem? Are you selling because this is something that you like and you think because you like it, everyone else will like?
Yeah.
Because not everyone likes that thing. It's like everyone who's people that are forcing everyone to be Herbalife distributors or everyone who's forcing us to be Forex traders. It's
Exactly.
not for everyone. So it's important to understand who your market is, your customer segment, who are you talking to clearly, so that number one, you know how to talk to them.
Yeah.
So you'll see recently we've launched our franchise model. Our franchise model talks to entrepreneurs and people that want to build multiple revenue streams.
Yeah.
So we are very clear on who we're talking to. So if you're not in the game of building a revenue stream or in the game of social media, we are not talking to you. And
Yeah.
we are clear, and we are not going to waste our time with you. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Even with the Libra phone, we were not talking. So someone that comes is like, yeah, how is this compared to an iPhone? We don't even answer you because you are not who we're talking to. We are not talking to people that can afford iPhones. We are talking to people that don't have the affordability but still want the high specs. So
Yeah.
we'll give you a low price but give you nice specs. So the first and foremost, the most important thing is not even positioning, it's understanding who you're talking to. Because by understanding who you're talking to, it's how you position yourself. So it's like, Vosita Mbegwa once made an example, Kaushela, you
Yes.
know?
Yes.
So,
I'm thinking about him right now, actually, what you were talking first. Before you said
yeah.
it, I remember when he said that, as a business, before you can say, I'm going to have a business, I'm going to do this, you need to know what you're solving. What is the problem?
Yeah.
What are you solving? So, yeah, I
100%.
think alike.
Sure. So it's the same thing. It's the same thing. Go faster. Go social. Go faster. So you when you approach a lady, you must also understand who she is, what kind of things that she likes. Because the mistake that you'd make is you'd think that all women like fancy lifestyle, flashy cars, and what. Then you go to this lady and you approach her with the cars and the flashy lifestyle, and then okay, brother. No, it doesn't work. So you lost out on an opportunity that could have been a great thing purely because you did not have an understanding of your target audience
Yes.
because you are targeting her. So you did not have an understanding of what does she look for, what does she like. So the best thing was to go to her friends, go to her sister, or whatever. Like, how is Tabi? What does she like in a man? What is her future goals? Blah 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 blah. Then you know how to then what position yourself. So position in itself starts with an understanding of who you're talking to, what their pain points are, or their goals. So sometimes it's not even about solving a problem. Sometimes it's helping somebody reach a goal. So Virgin Active is not really solving a problem. It's helping you reach a goal of fitness. It's helping you lose weight. That's a goal. That's not a problem unless you have medical issues. And if you have medical issues, you wouldn't go to the gym or go to a doctor. So not every business really solves a problem. Some businesses are just geared to help you meet a goal. So most important thing is understanding that. Then number two, once you understand that, then we go business model again. You go to the second thing, your value proposition. So what are you proposing to your customer as value based on either the goal they're trying to reach or the problem they're trying to solve? That's the value. So again, making an example of the franchise, we are helping them solve the issue of how do you start a social media agency with no experience. So our value proposition is Lebogang will mentor you. He will give you the framework. So that's the value proposition, that you're not in this alone. You're going with you. So someone who's reviewing this, like, okay, I've always wanted to, and that's what we get actually for the people that have registered. They've always wanted to register or start social media agencies, but they didn't know where to start and how to carry on the journey. So that's what we are basically solving. That is the value proposition in itself. So once you get those two right, your customer segment and your value proposition, then your positioning is around those two things. It's not even a rocket science. Your positioning is that, you know. So if we are a slay queen, positioning KGTI, you know, if you want if you want a woman that is focused, your positioning would be something else. It all depends on who you're targeting. So your positioning is not really the core matter, because the positioning is as a result of two things: your customer segment and the value proposition to the customer segment. That will tell you how you position yourself. Then based on the positioning, then even the digital channels that you choose in order to market to those people depends on the customer. So if you're targeting a high-end customer, they're probably not on Facebook. So Facebook is then useless for you, you know. So then you choose an Instagram and probably a Twitter. If you're targeting professionals, your LinkedIn and your Twitter will probably be your best platforms, and your Google will be your best platforms, not Facebook and Instagram. You know, so platforms are also chosen based on what an understanding of customers. So it shows you're going to where they are. Basically, you're following them to where they are. That's what now one of the things that shopping centers, well, not all of them, but some of these shopping centers, what they've done, well, shopping center companies, they've actually went into the rural areas and into the townships to build malls. So they're going directly to where the customer is and build there, as opposed to where the age-old thing was to build in Sandton and get everyone from Alex and whatever to go to Sandton. Now they're going directly into there. So your channels are determined by your customer. Just to summarize, customer first, understanding of customer gives you value proposition. Once you understand these two, it gives you positioning. Your positioning then will determine, and your customer also determine which channels you use to go to them, basically.
All right. Yeah, no, I can finish school. I think get data so but hey, yeah, no, and I feel like, hey, that was a wake up call to me as well. But thank you so much for that. So now you've explained how part. I think the things that needs to be done and the ideas. But now I think now we still have people that are struggling to even create, a Facebook page. We still have people that have never created like ads on their social platforms. They're running businesses, but to them, having Facebook is like, okay, as long as I have Facebook, how do I even get people to like my page? All of those things. So I think now I want you to explain to us, like, first of all, the importance of social media in terms of business or a brand, and how you get to create ads. I think creating ads is the most important. Don't create a Facebook, you just have to figure it out. I think people can Google, like, can figure it out. So creating ads, it's one, I think, important one, like having to manage an ad campaign, like ads, like all of that. It's Greek to other people. It's Greek.
Yeah.
E zama go e alanyana wa itse keng batho ba kgone go tlhaloganya.
Look, it's information overload because there's quite a lot. So I'll try and summarize this stuff. I think the biggest problem, or rather, okay, let me answer the first part of your question. The importance of social media is basically based on the fact that how much do you want to grow your business? Number one, that's the first question. If you really want to grow your business, you follow where the numbers are. It's a simple thing. So if you ask, I think the biggest problem sometimes is people take their personal opinions and hold them against their businesses. So they become the barriers to their own businesses, because not personally I create Instagram, so I'm not gonna be on Instagram. Not personally I create Facebook, so I'm not gonna have a business on Facebook. Not personally I don't like LinkedIn, so business yaka LinkedIn. So we relate our personal opinions and our personal preferences to a business, and that is business 101. You business totally separate.
Yes.
That is why we're not gonna leave it only ID number, business gonna leave it only CK number. So you are totally different from each other. You are just the guy managing it. So your personal opinions and your personal preferences must never be part of your business, basically. So also, the other thing is social media ads, specifically from a Facebook perspective, they are highly underpriced. Like I gave you the example of the billboard. We've been running a billboard campaign for 8 months for Lemok. But it's got 4 more months. In another 4 months, you know, because clearly nothing is happening. But anyway, it is what it is. So we've been running a billboard ad for billboard campaign for 8 months. An average billboard is about 80 to 100,000 rand a month. They will tell you that there's about 100,000 cars that pass there in a month or in a week, whatever the case. Now you can go to social media, spend 1,000 rand, and reach the same people advertising on a billboard for 100,000 rand. You know, the ad that you spoke about, where I did the video explaining how to find customers and whatnot, I spent 150,000 people. I spend 100, even with our franchise model, we've been running ads on a franchise model, and we've spent maybe 300 rand or something already there. But we already have over 20 people signed up, So our return on investment is way up there, because it's cheap. It's cheap. It's cheap to advertise. You can literally start a campaign ka 18 randa a day. That's how cheap it is, Lady flyers at 5,000 are still costing you 1,400 or 1,800. You put in the same amount of money in social media, you're gonna reach way more than 5,000 people. So they are more impactful, and people are already glued up on their phones. So you're already hitting an engaged audience, as opposed to flyer. Flyer, how we wanna bring back lost lava. So people don't even look at people don't even look at flyers. They throw them away. So all these other things are just ineffective. So social media is the place to be. Now, when you want to run the running of ads, so you have to first and foremost have a Facebook page. That's business. That's one thing that you need to have. You can't run ads out of your personal profile. Then you go to Ads Manager. The Ads Manager, basically, when you log in, it's on the left-hand side at the bottom. You click Ads Manager, your Ads Manager will open up your business page. If it's the first time, you just basically set it up, and then you link it to either a debit card or a credit card, whichever. And then just basically start creating your ads. So the major thing is you click create, obviously, you choose what page. So if you have multiple businesses and multiple pages, you just choose the right page. If you want the ads also to come up on Instagram, you link the Instagram page to the Facebook page. And then the first thing you do is choose the kind of ads. So I'm a big advocate for traffic ads, video ads, and lead generation ads. If you have an e-commerce store, there's also you are running. I think my quality is going down. Can you
Sorry?
hear me still? Can you hear me?
Yeah, but the sound is a bit
Okay, can you hear me
sharp.
now?
Yeah, yeah, sharp. No.
Okay, so
It's like
so
hard
yeah, so
sour.
now okay, so there's lead generation ads, traffic ads, video ads as well. If you have an e-commerce store, there's store conversion ads. Now, traffic ads basically drive people from social media to either a landing page or a website. Now, that's one thing I love the most, clicking to something else, because your ad basically it's like a starter. You're giving them a starter, a taste, and then once they click to read more or find out more, then they land on a specific page and they read. The biggest mistake most people do with that is they link to a website straight. So your ad said, find out how to start your own social media company. Then when I click, it shows me Lemok agency, the founder ke Lebogang, and so what they click for was how to start an agency, not to find out about Lebogang. So you need to design landing pages that are specific to your ads. So when people land on a page, they are reading exactly what they were engaged with. And it gives them, so the whole point of a landing page, give more information and convert. So either the conversion is make payment now, or capture details and capture the logging the email addresses and whatnot. It depends what the whole aim of the exercise is. So if you want people to sign up, like for example, my ebook, the ebook that I gave out, it was a free ebook. The whole exercise was to build an email account or an email database. So for them to download, they have to give me their email addresses and basically create an email database. So there was a specific landing page. So when you click to download the ebook, you're not going to read about Lebogang or the Mock Agency or whatever. It's specifically about the book and being able to download the book. So traffic is that. So let's say you click on traffic ad and then you name everything. Then the second step is to go to targeting. Who are you targeting with these kind of ads? So first and foremost is the age, it's the location. So are you you can literally target people via continent. So you can target the whole of Africa if you want. Or you can go localize and say South Africa, or localize more. You can target via province or even city, town. It all depends. You can even target via radius. So if your address is put into the page, you can say that you want to target people at the 10-kilometer radius outside your business. Usually that works for restaurants, because usually people that eat are around the vicinity of the restaurant, and it helps them also target people that are in the area for meetings or whatever. So you choose location. After choosing location, you choose age group. So age group is very important as well. So most people leave it on default. The default is 18 to 65. But the problem with that is you're talking to a lot of people.
Yeah.
You need to narrow it down. So in our space, I'm continuously going to make an example with the franchise thing. So with the franchise, we target 25 to 35 because we're going for youth. We're not going for older people. And then the gender as well. So in my experience with marketing managers, a lot of marketing managers are female. So we'll often focus on female, not the male marketing managers. But if your market is broad, it doesn't matter. Then you obviously click all genders. And then the next thing is that you target them via interest. So are these people small business owners? Are they interested in entrepreneurship? And do they love eating? Do they love salads? Are they interested in exercising? So you can target them based on the interest. So how Facebook knows this is how they tend to post. So if they always talking about business and entrepreneurship, the algorithm basically picks that up, and so you're able to target those people. And then you scroll down. That's when you start building your ad. So your ad is built, number one, with a text. So the text is the messaging. The messaging, your first line of your messaging must hit hard. It must be that thing. Either you ask. Usually, the best practice is to ask a question.
Yeah.
So if you are targeting people that you are selling a weight loss program, so the major thing is, do you want to lose weight in your belly, kind of vibe? That's a hard hitting question, and it's straight to the point. It makes think, and then obviously below you write other stuff. Then the visual is important. So you either use a video, or you use a picture, or you use a carousel. So a carousel ad is basically those pictures that you can scroll through.
Right.
Take a lot uses them a lot, where you
Yeah.
see multiple products.
Mm.
So yeah, you can have a carousel. Carousel actually works nicely because you can still have the same ad talking different parts, so you're able
Yeah.
to entice people differently. And then from there, there's a link because you chose traffic, so you must link them somewhere. So that's, like I said, take the link that is specifically to the landing page, and then then there's something called a pixel. So a pixel is a code that you generate out of Facebook to put behind the website. So that is why if you go to Take a Lot and you search for laptops, the moment you go back on Facebook, you start seeing Take a Lot adverts, study
Yeah.
laptop.
Mm.
So the code you load it on the website, and you're able to, so you can choose now to put on, to use the pixel or not. You can create custom audiences, so you can even target people that were on your website in the last 30 days, and whatever. And then you submit your ad,
Mm.
and then it starts running. So the major thing is also to choose budget. The budget is, you can either use a daily rate or a lifetime rate. So daily rate is, you can start at 10 rand a day or 20 rand a day, or you can have a lifetime ad of saying, look, I have 5,000 rand to spend, so I'm willing to spend 5,000 rand on this thing between today and the end of June. And then you put it up, and then every day you just go and check this thing. The major thing also is to check whether it's working or not. Some of the things to see if it's working or not working is, you look at the amount of people that have clicked on, because remember it's a traffic ad.
Yeah.
So you look at how many people have clicked on the ad versus how many people have taken action on the landing page. So if 1,000 people clicked on the ad and you only got 2 people asking you a question on, I want to sign up or whatever, then you have to ask yourself, where are the other 998 people?
Mm.
And that's where you start figuring out the problem is not the ad, because people are clicking. The problem is your landing page. So are you giving them enough information, or is the information not enticing? Maybe you have too much text on your website. Maybe they want more video content,
Mm.
or rather you lay out the content as an infographic rather than just paragraphs. So it's looking at those things. If people are not clicking, then obviously the issue is the ad. And
Yeah.
then you also look at your cost per click. So if your cost per click is very expensive, so if you're paying 6 rand to 10 rand per click, then it means that you've not optimized your ad, or your ad is going against Facebook guidelines.
Yeah.
So Facebook, yeah, so there's certain ads Facebook will allow, certain ads they won't allow. So
Mm.
if they allow it, it will still, like for example, your picture must not have a lot of text. So
Mm.
it's always nice to use pictures that are just shows an image with no text in it. Um, and then if you're referencing Facebook or Instagram, you're not supposed to use abbreviations. So you're not supposed to say Insta or FB. You have
Mm.
to say Instagram or Facebook. So there are certain rules that Facebook has. So if your cost per click is very high, then it can either say that your ad is going against Facebook guidelines, or you are targeting a very broad audience. So
Mm.
you have to also go back to your targeting and see if you're targeting the right people or not. So those are just the best practices
Yeah.
in creating ads. Yeah. So
Mm.
there's not much difference along the lines whether you create a traffic ad, lead generation, or video ad, or store ad. The thing is the same. The only difference is traffic takes them somewhere. Video ad is basically pushing a video to a lot of people. Lead generation is the ad, and then it basically creates leads on an Excel spreadsheet that you have to download.
Yeah.
And then your store conversion ads basically pull products from your online store, like what Take a Lot would do. So it
Yeah.
pulls the products and then basically pushes out products to people and suggest so that they can buy. So that's purely the differences.
Wow. Okay. I think that's enough.
I told you
That's
it's
enough
technical. I
information for
told
the
you.
day, because yeah, you've really covered, like, I think the most important things that people need to know.
Yeah.
So I think we can conclude to say that before you can say, this is my business, this is how I'm going to market it, know exactly who you're targeting. Do not just go and create, because the problem is you would invest your money. On my previous episode, I was talking about cheap is expensive. And what I was mentioning was that sometimes you invest in, let's say, for example, because now we're talking about ads, you're investing in an ad and you're paying so much money and it's not really working because you're not targeting the right audience. Just because you created an ad is okay. You're thinking, hi, it will work. So my
Yeah.
point is make sure that you do it right. I think Lebo has given you enough guidance as to how you do it. What you need to do from here is to go in and actually practice and get it right. Google, the internet is free, guys. We have to utilize it either way. So yeah, Lebo, that was so amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
very last question. We're not talking
Mhm.
about this, no. Very last question. So where do we get your Libra phone by Lemok? I mean, like we know that it's there, and you also have earphones that you've launched. Like we want to know where do people get them, and also like maybe there's someone who admires your company and wishes to work with you. They're like, yo, if I can just work for the agency, what are the requirements? If you saying I'm gonna hire you, what should I,
Yeah.
what should be my
Okay, so the easiest question is the Libra. So Libra, you get them on the website. So it's an e-commerce website, www.libra.co.za, www.libra.co.za. Click on shop, and basically everything else is pretty standard. You can either pay via your card, your EFT, or you can even use MobiCredit, which is basically a credit facility where you pay per month. But that is with them, not with us. So you have to have an account with them. So
yes,
that's Libra. So Libra covered.
yes,
With Lamok Agency, so our model, we're running a model now that we call Project 1K. So we launched with this model when we started the business. It's a 10-year model where we want to have 1,000 entities under us.
yes,
So that is why our model is we don't have a lot of employees, we have a lot of freelance guys that we work with and companies that work with us. That is why also the franchise model is the step towards that as well. So our thing is we'd rather empower people to create their own agencies rather than just working for us. And that helps us with two things. Number one, there's very little expertise in the social media industry. Although there's a lot of companies that offer social media, but very few companies have understanding of it. So some people just know how to create content and put up a nice picture with a nice caption, but they don't really understand how it all works. So for me, I would rather we empower people to build phenomenal businesses and in social media digital businesses, and that goes back into our strategy as Lamok Group, because the Lamok Group ultimately we're building a group company. So Lamok Agency is the one that we own, but we're looking at buying other businesses as well coming into the group. So the major thing is it also helps us also to see, okay, that one has potential, that one has potential, because it's a 10-year thing, it's a 10-year goal, and we are on year 5 this year. So
yes,
we still have 5 more years to ensure that we get the right numbers and everything. So for me, instead of working for me, is
yes,
work with me rather.
yes.
And let's build and let me help you build your own thing. That for me is the best way to do it.
Okay. I mean, the man has said
100%.
it. I can't ask any more questions on that. Thank you so much. I'm sure that they've got all the information needed. I really
Yeah,
thank you for giving me your time and for sharing so much insight. I think this is the content that the world needs to hear. And for brands, especially now that you mentioned that you want to work with people, you're not saying work for me, you are
yeah,
saying take the lead. And I think every information that you said, that you shared is actually encouraging someone to take the lead and build something, create those opportunities for yourself, and use all the necessary equipment or tools available to actually make it work.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
Thank you, Lebo. I think we have to go now. Like it's enough. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Please enjoy the rest of your day. Yeah, I really appreciate your time. Thank you, and all the best with your brand, and keep inspiring us because. I mean, my agency is growing as well. And who knows? Maybe one day I'll just be working with you.
Okay, no, hundreds.
Yeah. So thank you so much. And yeah, all the best.
Thank you. Thank you.
Pleasure.